Hey team, we're back. This is Joe and
Abram.
And today we're going to talk about when things don't go exactly right. We talked about having customer service courage a few pre-shifts ago. And that happens when we're asking Abram open-ended questions.
That's right.
Sometimes we'll get the opportunity to surprise and delight, and other times we'll find out things didn't go as we wanted them to. Guest is having a poor experience. So what do we do, and how do we disarm that situation the best way? Luckily, we have a great tool. And Abram, it's
The H.E.A.R.T model.
It's an easy acronym to remember. It's a great way to get to the information that you're going to need to make sure that we're making it right for our guests. And it's not only for guests, but for team members, family members. It's just a great tool to have in your repertoire for any difficult interaction. So when we look at the H.E.A.R.T model, it's H-E-A.R.T. And I'll start off by saying we're going to hear the guests out. That's the H, Abram. So when we're hearing the guests out, we want to do exactly what Abram and I are doing. Look at Abram. He's maintaining eye contact. He's nodding. He's making sure that I know that he's listening. And most important of all, he's not interrupting. He's making sure he's getting all that information. All the things that I'm going to tell him about the situation that has made me upset, he's going to get all in one download. He's going to let me get it all out. And then once I've told him everything that's gone wrong, then we're going to move to the E, Abram.
Yes, and the E, Joe, stands for empathize. We're going to let that guest know we understand where they're coming from. You know, if you can relate it to a personal story you have, even better. You know, if they hear if their food took too long to get to them, you know, you can relate to a time you did Uber Eats and it took much longer than originally anticipated.
Absolutely. Letting a guest know that you walked a mile in their shoes lets them know that it's relatable. You understand their position. The A that comes after that is apologize. And I always encourage team members to put the E and the A as close together as they can. Let the guest know, I understand that same situation has happened to me, and I'm sorry that that's happened to you here. Make it short and sweet and sincere. We don't want big, long, wordy apologies because they just don't sound like you mean it. When the apology is short and to the point, it lets the guests know that we really do care.
Exactly. And now we get to the R. The R stands for resolve. But it's important to remember that we want to resolve the situation to the guest satisfaction. We want to make sure when we resolve that issue for them, we ask them if that resolves their issue, if it makes it right for them. You know, if while we're listening to them talk, hearing that H, Joe, a lot of times they tell us exactly what they want and we'll make it right. So we can draw back from that, take what we heard them say, come up with a solution to resolve it to their satisfaction, and make sure that it does resolve to their satisfaction.
Exactly right. And then once we've done that, we want to thank the guest. That's the T. It can be the most difficult portion of the entire H.E.A.R.T model because you've endured the guest kind of being emotional. Maybe they were even yelling a little bit. And you've gotten through that, and you've calmed them down, and you've taken good notes, and you've empathized and apologized, and you've put a plan in place. And now it's time to thank them. And what we're going to thank them for is the opportunity to improve. They've given us a chance to make things better, not only for them right now, but for every other guest that it could be impacted by. You know, they say, Abram, that only one out of every 4 guests that has an issue will come out upstairs and even mention it. That means that 3, 4, potentially even more guests that had that same issue are going to walk out that door and never let us know they had a problem, and probably never stay with us.
Yeah. And you know what, Joe? Not only will they not let us know they had a problem, they might let somebody know they have a problem. Their old friend, the internet.
That's right. In this day of social media, we don't want unresolved problems getting out onto Twitter or on any of the other platforms where we can't control the audience. We want to make sure that guests are walking out, having been heard, having their problems resolved. So with that, Abram, our reflections and takeaways for the day.
Yes, our reflections and takeaway. We want to be prepared for any response when we ask the guest, how was your stay? Or any open-ended question. They could tell us it's going fantastic. They could also tell us some things have gone wrong, and we need to be prepared for that.
And when things have gone wrong, make sure that we're using the heart model. Hear the guest out, empathize, apologize, resolve, and take action. One of the other things that I really encourage team members to do, especially if you're in front of the house positions, move that guest away from everyone else. Don't give them a stage to perform on, because they'll feel as awkward as you are. Get them in a space where you can communicate one-on-one. So use that heart model when you know you need to.
You know, and whether the guest feedback is positive, negative, or neutral, we need to be prepared to show empathy and understanding.
Absolutely. And when we get to that R, make sure that the resolution that we put in place that we're following up on internally. Don't just call housekeeping and say, oh, can you run some towels up to suite 1012? Make sure, do a follow-up call. Make sure that that guest, who we already know is upset, that their needs were met. You're not being a bother, you're not being a pest, you're just doing the adequate follow-up to make sure that we've taken care of that guest in that situation.
Yes. You know, and keep in mind that some scenarios may require you to offer service recovery in addition to making the problem right for the guest.
Absolutely. So with that, Abram, it's our challenge of the week.
Our challenge of the week this week, Hilton Austin, is at the end of this video, I'm going to encourage you to use the heart model next time you get a not so positive answer to how was your stay or any other open-ended question that you use.
So when that happens, let us know that you used the heart model and what was the resolution. Make sure you go to HR. Make sure that you're letting Abram, B, Sandra, Sophia know that you used the heart model and here was the resolution. And the best resolution will win a gift card, Abram, at our next CVR round.
Fantastic.
So until then, I'm Joe.
I'm Abram.
And we'll see you at our next pre-shift.